Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the second episode of the ConnectCTNY podcast, coming to you live from the Ridges in Stamford, Connecticut, gearing up for our event on May 18th. And I am Austin Glazer, joined by my friend, co-host, confidant, and good buddy, Mike Spindler. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing terrific, man. You got some energy for this one.
I'm ready to roll, baby.
I think that coffee worked.
You think so?
Yeah,
that was just, I'm giving it everything I have right now.
I appreciate the effort, man.
I'm trying.
I appreciate it. And I'm super excited about this one
Yeah.
because we have a powerhouse real estate attorney in the house today here at the Ridges, Sebastian Tornatore from Norwalk, offices in Norwalk, real estate attorney. Welcome to the show, man.
Morning, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I
Morning.
appreciate you coming on, man. We definitely want to hear, about your story. You are a sponsor for the next event on May 18th, which we're super excited to have you aboard for that as well. But give us the rundown. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business. Give us the whole spiel.
Yeah, no doubt. So I went to law school here in Connecticut. Let's start from the beginning. I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut originally. Okay. Norwalk Public Schools, went all the way through. Went to college, went to law school up at UConn in Hartford. After college, after law school, I came back down. I started working in Stamford for a firm that specialized in securities class action litigation, representing representing plaintiffs, institutional investors, shareholder investors in class actions against big companies, publicly traded companies. I did that for about 10 years, just working for another firm. Made my way up through the ranks there. COVID hit. We all switched to working from home. I was doing work from home for about a year. I had a second child around the time of COVID beginning. So in the back of my mind, I'd always wanted to start my own firm. So I'm trying to think, where does this go? Where does this go? Trying to balance life, kids, everything. The opportunity presented itself. I had lunch with a mentor of mine who's a long tenured real estate attorney in Norwalk. He was like, look, I know you haven't done it before. The real estate business right now is crazy, right? Fairfield County real estate during COVID. He's like, I primarily do closing stuff now. If you're looking to go out on your own, it wouldn't be bad for you to learn this and kind of get yourself up to speed. You got any questions? Give me a call. I'll help you with questions. So I went home, talked to my wife. My wife's name is Betsy. I said, Betsy, this is what I want to do. This is kind of where I see my long-term goal. I'd like in the next 5 years, I would like to have a firm set up. I want to be out on my own. This is where I want it to go. And she goes, well, why are we waiting 5 years? She's got a job. I was like, we just had a second kid. Like, it's the middle of COVID. She's like, all right, but like, why wait till tomorrow? What we can just do today. So she said that. I was cool. Yeah. So luckily she has a good job, so it was one of those things. It was like, no better time than now. So I went in that Monday. This was like a Friday afternoon conversation. I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I went in that Monday. I sat down with my boss, and it's the only legal job I'd ever known. Like I said, I'd been at this one firm for 10 years with this one attorney. And we had grown the office together. We had done a lot together. I sat down with her, and she was like, what's going on? I told her, I'm putting in my notice. I'm pivoting. I want to go do something different. We gave each other a hug, put in my notice. I gave the firm my last 3 weeks. And then it was actually my last day was the Friday before Memorial Day, 2021. 2021 is when I started. So there was a Friday before Memorial Day. I enjoyed Memorial Day weekend, Monday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, I was about that work. I went on, I went and created my LLC. I started shopping. I got myself my malpractice insurance in place. I wanted to get everything set up right away so that if anything came through the door, I would be able to take it right away. I was ready. So got my malpractice insurance, got my business insurance, ordered some business cards because I was like, I got to have something to hand out to people. You got to start grinding stuff away somewhere. Sure. And then so I got myself set up. I got an office down in South Norwalk.
Office is sick, by the way.
Yeah, great office space. Awesome. If anybody's looking, it was a co-working space, or it's a co-working space down in South Norwalk. They did a great job with the building. Shout out to Sono 50 Co-working. If you need anything, somebody give me a call and I'll connect you to people down there. They got a great spot. They got a great staff over there. So I got myself an office space, and then I opened the doors and I was like, how do I get clients on this, right? Sure. Like I had only ever been doing shareholder plaintiff litigation and class action, and I wasn't going to be doing that anymore. So I just opened the doors with an idea of, okay, I got to figure out how to get real estate clients. I got to get closings through the door first, right? I had a plan. I laid out a plan. This is what I will do: short term, medium term, long term.
What was that plan?
Short term was got to get some closings in the door right away because the life cycle of those are shorter.
Right.
You get cash in the door 30 to 60 days. So got to get some clients. But I'm from Norwalk. but I hadn't been working in the legal field in Norwalk. My firm was primarily headquartered out of New York City, doing big national litigation work. So I had a lot of legal contacts around the state because I went to law school here and I have connections with just generally with people, but I didn't have as many connections with real estate agents as I thought I would when I first set out. So I started going through my Rolodex, going through trying to see who I could contact, who wants to go to lunch. And then what I did, the first couple, probably every weekend of June, July, and August, I pulled the list of open houses in Norwalk and Westport, since I live sort of over there in that area. I pulled the list of open houses, and I went to every single open house I could fit in on a Saturday.
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
I spent 10 hours just driving around to open houses, handing out business cards to whoever the hosting agent was, shaking hands. People said, I talked to plenty of agents who said, I've never had an attorney do this before. I've never had someone come and introduce themselves. And I got long-standing clients from that, real estate agents who refer to me. Mike, we hooked up just based by chance. I think it was probably one of the in the first couple of months.
Yep.
Mike was representing somebody who had been referred over to me through a mutual friend, and then Mike and I, we ended up syncing on workflow, and it just was one of those things. Like, I liked the way he was dealing with his client. I think he liked the way I was dealing with my client, and we just sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah, it's funny how it works though. It's because I'm like, my client's like, yeah, I'm using this guy Sebastian. I'm like, ah, shit, like who's this guy?
Right, a
like,
new guy to the
I'm
party.
like, new guy. Like you want your team,
Totally.
right? Like you want your team for
Totally.
every transaction to be able to get that thing to the finish line. And I'm like, all right, who's this guy? And then all of a sudden, like we just hit it off. Like the guy answers his phone. He's like, hey, I think we should do X, Y, Z. And he's just like, you could just reach him.
Sure.
And I think that's huge, and obviously the clients love him too,
Yeah.
right? Like, he's got a personality. Like some attorneys, they have no personality.
Right.
He's got a very outgoing personality. So we just kind of hit it off from there. I feel like then the relationship was budding from there.
I have some follow-ups. Dude, good for you. That's so interesting. I did not know that. You see, it's funny. As we do these interviews, like when we interviewed Delaney last, you didn't know a lot about him. I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know that you were not doing real estate prior to 2021. I mean, that's like
And
real
to be
estate.
honest with you, I didn't even know that either.
That's
which
awesome,
is super
man.
impressive.
Yeah, good for you to take that chance and believe in yourself and be like, I can do this. And now you've done it. But so my follow-up question to this, over time, right? So going to all these open houses, I'm sure all of these real estate agents were working with attorneys already. How did you get them to work with you? Was it more just like because of who you are, you have this unbelievable personality and you pick up the phone and that's why they want to work with you? Or like, how were you able to get yourself in the door?
I mean, I can't speak to what's happening behind the scenes. I think you go there, you make yourself available, and you give them the opportunity or the willingness to give you a shot, right?
Sure.
So you go there, you shake hands. I followed up, like we were talking offline. Sort of, you send a personalized text message to everybody after one of these events, right? Austin, you mentioned that. After every open house I went to, I collected business cards. I put them in my CRM. I sent a follow-up email.
It's all about the follow-up, yeah.
Personalized email. Hey, great meeting you. I know you probably are working with another attorney. If you got something, let me know. Happy to help.
Just give me that back.
Happy
whatever.
And then, so there are a lot of title shops too, of people who don't want to do anything besides closings. So I made it known, if you need somebody to advise on a landlord-tenant matter, you've got something else that someone's having a collections issue. So like there were a couple real estate agents who sent over, they needed a lease reviewed, and whoever their closing attorney was like, I'm not going to dabble in that. I reviewed the lease form. And then the next time they put my name on their list, I know Mike can kind of speak to this. Most, I think, realtors give a list of 2 or 3 real estate or attorneys when they make a referral.
Of course.
So you put the name on the list and hope that someone calls. And then it's about picking up the phone when that client does call.
Yeah,
of course.
Because what I find is a lot of these, if I get a list, if I'm a buyer and I get a list from my realtor and they gave me a list of 3 attorneys, I'm going to go down the list and I'm going to call all 3.
Yep.
If attorney 1 doesn't pick up, I'm calling attorney 2 right there.
100%.
Yep.
And then and I learned that pretty early. I think there was one time where I got a referral and I was out to lunch and I called someone back 12 minutes after they had left me a voicemail. Sorry, I talked to someone else after I called you and I already said I was going to move forward with them. You guys were the same price or whatever. I'm going to go with them, but thanks.
Right.
So it's about being available, making yourself there to take that call and sell yourself to the client on the phone.
Right. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, like especially real estate attorneys, you have to be a salesman as well, right? Like we're in sales, right? A lot of people don't think of attorneys as you have to sell yourself, but like answering the phone and things like that when they call, I think is huge.
For me, I feel like when an attorney like that is the most important thing to me. Like I've worked with so many attorneys where it's like, yo, pick up the phone, answer the email. Like this is the simple things. But to me, at least, I think that's what makes you stand out. And I've seen with you countless times, you're always picking up the phone. You're always answering emails. Like it's just like there are these things you got to do to make yourself stand out. And it sounds like you've done them to get where you are today. So, kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's about, to me, it's a lot of people can close real estate, right?
Sure.
There's no secret sauce. A lot of the
Right.
stuff you're working with lenders, you're closing.
Yeah.
You have to bring something else to the table. And for me, I think one of the things I pride myself on is whether it's a realtor, whether it's a client, whether it's opposing counsel, whether it's the mortgage or insurance guy, they're going to call. And if I can't pick up the phone, if I can't speak in that moment, I'm going to at least pick up the phone
Yep.
and say, hey, I need 20 minutes and I'm going to get right back to you.
Yep.
And then I'm going to call you 19 minutes later because I don't want you to think, oh, this guy always tells me he's going
Right.
to call me in 20 minutes and I talk to him the next day. So it's about returning phone calls quickly. It's about staying on top of it. And it's about really feeling like you're connected and like there's an actual team there.
Yeah.
I think, whenever I do an initial client consult, they always ask, well, what do you bring? What do you do? And I said, I'm part of the team. This should be,
Yep.
this should
It's
be
a
a
team
four,
effort,
yeah,
yeah.
it should be a four-legged team, right? It should be the mortgage agent, the real estate agent, the attorney, and the buyer. And
Insurance
the
agent.
insurance
I'm
guy's
a
he's
third
on
party,
he's
yeah.
on the periphery.
Yeah.
But the team is really those four people, and we need to know what one another is doing.
Right.
Otherwise, like if all of a sudden, Mike and I had a situation earlier, last month, where there was consideration of changing the amount that was going to be borrowed or changing the bank sort of in the last part of the
Right,
phase of
fourth quarter.
closing. So you're going to change if you change the lender at the end, it's got long-term impact right here, right? It might mess up our closing date, it might mess up or it might change penalty clauses. So we need to all be sort of aware of what's going on. And I think I don't want to be just that guy who swoops in. Like, I don't want to have a paralegal that handles everything from day 1 through 45, and then day 46 I step in
Right.
and I do the closing. I want
Sure.
to be involved on day 1, and that's been my business model, and that's how I've been trying to sort of keep myself. No matter that's sort of maintaining growth too. It's maintaining that I can continue to keep my finger on things because there shouldn't be growth just for growth's sake, because that's when you lose sight of what the goal should be.
Yeah, I love that, and I just want to add a question to that too, just to touch on that is, any new attorney getting into the industry, what advice would you pass along to them? Obviously, communication sounds like number one, right? Yeah. Based on your kind of strategy and the way you kind of approach things. But what other advice would you give to them? Somebody new getting into the business, and it could be just somebody starting. Maybe it's not an attorney. Maybe it's somebody that's just getting into their own business.
I think it's twofold, right? I think one of them is develop good systems at the outset. Make sure, because maybe when you only have 2 closings on your docket, it's easy to just sort of fly by the seat of your pants,
Sure.
right? Mm-hmm. And I can just, I can keep papers here.
100%.
But it's so much easier if you develop those good habits at the outset. For attorneys, it's a lot of times it's a practice management software, right? If you get a practice management software you really like and you take time to know how to use it, you find opportunities for synergies. You can create efficiencies with automation, that sort of thing. Create that off the bat when you've got a lot of free time, because if you don't do that when you get busy, balls will drop because you're not going to have enough time to set that up later.
Yep.
And then 2, it kind of goes back to what we were previously talking about, remembering that we're in a service industry.
Yep.
That
Of course.
it's still, everything is done for the benefit of the client. Now, we're trying to provide legal services, and we're trying to provide zealous advocacy and give them what they need and give them the hard truths when they need it. But ultimately, like I said, there are plenty of attorneys in this area who can close real estate. You got to go in there and you got to differentiate yourself from the guy down the street, because they want to walk away knowing that they had a good experience and knowing that that's just sort of perpetuating. Maybe they refer you to the next person.
Yep.
Maybe they come back. For me, I don't do just closings. So for me, if you have a good experience with closing, maybe you come back because you remember, hey, I bought a house and I need a new will done or something like that. Or I got in a car accident. I'm going to call Sebastian first. I want him to be my attorney for
Top
life.
of mind, yep.
Top of mind. And then because if I tell you, look, I don't do that, but I'm going to refer you out to somebody and my referral is good. If you trust me, you're going to trust my
Yep,
referral.
no doubt.
So for me, it's keep in mind that you're not just helping these people for the next 45, 60 days. You're trying to position yourself to help them for the long term.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I mean, I think that all 3 of our industries right now are in this very similar position. I know hundreds of lawyers, I know hundreds of real estate agents,
Yep.
I know hundreds of insurance agents. It's all about how do you make yourself stand up in front of your competition, keep yourself in front of mind. What are you doing to make yourself unique? How's the service you provide? Like you said, that team mentality of you, the real estate agent, the attorney, and I believe you said and the buyer. That's really is what it is all about, Sebastian. It's just like staying in front of them and like, dude, I mean, I see thousands of commercials for insurance companies a day, but my clients don't leave. They call me first because of that rapport, trust. Like I come up first of mind every single time, which both of you do as well. So very interesting to hear that, and I agree. Very, very much.
So just switching gears in terms of like ConnectCT and kind of obviously like we mentioned, you're a sponsor for the next event, which is on May 18th. I'm curious on what industries you are looking to connect with moving forward to help you grow your business.
Yeah, I'm obviously always happy to talk to other people in that real estate space. So other realtors, insurance, mortgage people, that's great. But also kind of going back to what I previously said about everything sort of refers out. So I think the when I was listening on the last podcast, he mentioned that he focuses a lot on nurses and in that area. So for me, it's like nurses buy houses too. Nurses need a lawyer for things too.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to talk to anybody, right? Because you never know when your next referral might come from.
Yep.
You never know when somebody needs something and they call you and they say, hey, can you help me point in the right direction? And that's why one of the reasons, I know it sounds cliche, I became an attorney because I wanted to be able to provide. I didn't want to be a corporate attorney, like, you know, who just sits up in a big office somewhere and never sees his clients, or his client's a faceless corporation. I'm a solo attorney because it gives me hands-on experience with my clients. So anything I can do for someone is what I'm going to try to do. Like I always tell people, if I can't help you with it, I'm going to find someone who can help you.
Of course.
And it's because it feels like that's the real service. That's that sort of that small town lawyer, with choosing small town sort of, parochially there, but it's that sort of small town lawyer approach of like, I'm going to try to, like, I'm going to be your actual counsel by providing you counsel along the way. Yeah. So for me, it's really anybody, wide net, anybody who wants to give a call, needs a consult for anything. I'm happy to always help.
Love that. Want to take it away?
Yeah. Sebastian, just want to say thanks for coming, man. You killed it.
Where can people find you? What's the best way to reach you?
Instagram, Tornatore Law, website, tornatorelawllc.com. Down in South Norwalk, 50 Washington Street, up on the 10th floor. You ever stop by, we'll have a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
we'll talk.
It is a nice cup of coffee machine they have over there. That's solid.
All right, cool. All right,
thanks,
so
guys.
let's just say cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.